Steve, can I thank you and AMMA very much indeed for entering into this partnership. Beyond Blue has got a whole range of programs that we address throughout the community. This Heads Up campaign is a new initiative of ours where we're trying to have employers and employees in workplaces recognise that if we can ensure that we have mentally healthy workplaces, not only is that socially good for the individual within the workplace, relationships with their own family, but it also has a huge upside in terms of the productivity for the business.
When you look at the industry, the raw numbers will suggest that there's about 300,000 or 400,000 people, but when you look at the supply chain as well, there's about 1.1 million people attached to the mining and oil and gas industry. And our industry is about 85% male dominated, and guys aren't really good at talking about their mental health issues. The guys tend to keep things to themselves and often out at remote locations, a long way away from their families. Some of these roster cycles, they say that even time rosters, but they could be away from home 5 weeks at a time. So there could be a really simple thing at home in terms of a pet dying or a family illness or something like that, and they seem so far away, even though they've got phone and Skype and things like that. So the distance away from home is often an additional challenge for our sector. We've also got a lot of people in that age group between 18 and 35 that are high risk and they need support. So having conversations about mental health issue and making it okay to do that and promote it as something that's fairly normal. People move from employer to employer, location to location, and getting those conversations started. And this catalyst that Beyond Blue initiated many years ago and Heads Up are improving on, the sort of things that are great, and we're more than delighted to be on board with it. Safety's always been #1 priority, but this issue of mental health issues is something that the industry needs to get its head around more than they have done to date. There are great initiatives in place to raise that awareness. People going to work sites and talking about their own experiences, that's already happening, and support networks in place. So we've got a long way to go, but the sort of issues that you raised, and that is the well-being for the individuals, but also the huge productivity gains there for the sector too. That's not missed on the chief executives in the sector, I can assure you.
No, but the chief executives understand the value of having a mentally healthy workplace, but often they don't drive that through in a productive way. You ask an employer, do you understand the value of having a mentally healthy workplace? And they say, oh yes. But they are more focused on OH&S, on occupational safety, that is accidents, than they are the H, which is the health aspects. So part of the Heads Up campaign is designed to not only continue to educate employers, but to have them become proactive in driving the issue of a mentally healthy workplace down the line through their managers to the most junior employee on the floor. The Heads Up program allows someone to get online, get onto Heads Up, and they can put into the computer material which will then in turn spit out a plan that they can introduce, whether they're on an isolated site offshore or whether they're in a big mining community onshore. If we can make people think more about living a mentally healthy lifestyle, it'll have ramifications back at home too, because those separations can at times be very difficult, hard to manage, unless people have got a discipline, unless they're mentally prepared to deal with those stresses and strains. The absences can become overpowering.
Yes, we do have in place some of these what we call FIFO family support networks and so forth. But when the conversations are going on, whether by Skype or by email or by telephone, the fellow employees and their bosses and so forth, just having an awareness that something's a bit different and inquiring as to, you know, how are you going sort of thing, and promoting that.
That's the objective, isn't it? From the employer down, to create the environment in which people can talk to each other openly and support each other and direct them to professional help if that occurs. And that's where we're trying to break a lot of the glass ceilings. And so in typically strong male-orientated areas, have in the past been very reticent to seek help when they need it. But I keep saying to people, we've only got one life. And if you break an arm, you go and seek help immediately. If you've got a relationship, a financial or a medical issue that's causing you concern, or a workplace issue, the quicker you go and talk about it, the quicker you can address it and in most cases overcome it. So this concept of creating a mentally healthy workplace where the employer encourages people to talk to each other without discrimination becomes terribly important.
That's why AMMA looks forward to working with Beyond Blue to raise that awareness, to encourage those sorts of conversations. There's a human element to all of this to change the way people talk about mental health issues, not just in the resources sector, but the community more broadly. And as you mentioned before too, the productivity benefits, and that also flows into the national economy and the national wellbeing. So we see a lot of upside from being involved with Beyond Blue and the Heads Up program from a humanistic point of view, from an industry point of view, and for a national good point of view.
But your industry, which is a very important industry, probably has one of the better, higher rates of return in terms of investing in a mentally healthy workplace vis-a-vis all other workplaces because of the nature of the business. We're not only appreciative of you joining and knowing how the head organisation can influence so many of your members, but we're very grateful that you've come on board, and we'll work very closely with you over the next few years to make sure by the end of our KPI period, 2019, we've got every one of your members signed up.
Thank you very much for your time, Jeff. We look forward to spreading the message, and we look forward to Beyond Blue's support and the Heads Up program support as we communicate that message to our resource sector members.
Well, thank you. Anytime, just give me a call and I'll give you more of my message.
Okay, cheers.